We've had the code review session. Our new test suite is inside the application. It's running in the dev environment and it's working, which also validates that, hey, this code that was written for delivery is ready to go to other environments, possibly all the way out to production, depending on the level of test automation we have. So we're ready to move on to the next thing. And so it's very important, now that it's time to do more coding and our meeting is over, to have a well-organized backlog. And what that is, regardless of whether you're Agile or not, you just need a list and your work tracking system of the work that needs to be done in some sort of priority order, so I know what's most important. In my case as a QE, I'm going to look through that and see what stands out as something that can be done by a QE. In this case, the very first item on the top of the list is end-to-end automation for refunds. And title alone, that has QE written all over it. I can tell by E2E, end-to-end. So I look at it and try to get an understanding of what it means. This is why it's very important that when defining work for someone else to execute it, you write it in such a way where they have enough information to figure out what needs to be done. A standard practice and a good practice is to use what's called acceptance criteria. You want to outline a series of criteria to tell you how to tell when this work is done. And it's important to take the time to do this, but not also to be overly verbose. For example, if you write 4 pages of information here, that's probably overkill. You're just giving the minimal amount of information for the person taking on the work to know what to do and how to judge when it's done. So now that I've looked at this and I'm comfortable with it, I'm going to go ahead and assign it to myself or commit to it. If I wasn't comfortable with it, I wouldn't commit to it and wouldn't take it on. I would reach out and ask more questions. I would wait tomorrow for the stand-up, or if someone was available, I'd start chatting them up right now saying, hey, I'm looking at this. I don't understand this. Can we talk? Can we chat? Whatever's needed, you got to be comfortable to take it on. So when I do take it on, I now have to look at more of the coding processes. What am I going to do? Well, I like to start out with writing Gherkin format, because that's really how a lot of these web-based solutions are designed, with let me describe in given when then format how this works. Well, assuming the story has more information in it than my example, it's going to look something like, given that a user has already made a purchase, when that user is unhappy and requests for a refund, then a notification is sent to a system administrator that this user is requesting a refund and it requires review. This again depends entirely on functionality that was already implemented, and so in order to get a lot of that information, you're going to have to look into what was actually implemented, which is going to have its own stories and work. Finally, before I start going beyond just defining the scenario, I want to first verify that I truly understand how it works manually. So that's the manual testing piece. I'm going to open up my web browser, I'm going to log in, I'm going to make a purchase, then I'm going to dispute it, and then I'm going to see what happens. And as I'm doing that, I'm figuring out all the details. I'm noting the different components involved and where they are and what pages I'm on. And that's the basis for how I'm going to tackle this new problem.